Happy New Year's Eve morning, everybody. Yes, that's right. Last day of 2024. And for many of us, it's like, what took it so long? But now we're getting ready to go into the new year. Yet it just made sense to kind of have a recap and talk about some of the plans for the next year and some of what we've done this year. And so, yes, when I say we, that means my sisters are here. I can't wait to bring them up. But before I do, I have to go into, my usual start off, which is check in with those around you. There are those who they've gone through something over the past year. You know something happened, or you were there when it happened. And then over time, they're smiling, but they're wearing a mask. They're not doing well. I mean, I know what it's like. Those masks are so easy to put on. They hide everything. So check in on those around you. Make sure they're doing okay. And be there for them. Don't just think, oh, it happened like months ago and everything's fine because they're smiling. No, smiles don't mean everything's fine. That's why I talk about masks so much. That's why I talk about belonging so much. And that's why I talk about my sponsors so much. So starting off with my dear sis, Dr. Constance Leyland and Level Up Academy. She does so many things. And what you really need to do is just check her out. Check all the different things because she's got education, she's got podcasts, she's got TV, magazine. And this girl has everything. There's a reason why she's the publicity queen. Because look at all these different places that she has access to write press releases. She has access for premium magazines. And those are the ones that it's like you got to pay to get in, and you're paying money for maybe 800 words. However, when Sis is the one that's doing it, she's writing it, she's there to basically walk you through the process. And she's there to help make sure that, yes, you think it's time that you want the publicity now. She's the type who will sit there and go, maybe you should wait because it sounds like you still have to figure out X, Y, Z. And when you've got those nailed down, then you're ready to go. Or she's like, oh, just do a couple of these tweaks and then let's get it out tomorrow. She's there for you. She's always got your back when it comes to your publicity and just level up. There's a reason why it's Level Up Academy. And then we have the Hands of Business. CJ always talks about collaboration over competition. And I'm right there beside her because that's what we do. We collaborate on so many things. When you collaborate, that does not mean that you have to stay away from people that are doing the same thing as you. Competition, that creates the anxiety, the angst, and a whole lot of other issues. When you're collaborating, you can collaborate with somebody who does the same thing that you do. Yet when you get together, you basically are going to level each other up through collaboration. You get to split the work. You get to learn from each other. And that makes each of you better. And remember, too, in a world of 8 billion people, not all of them are going to be your client. And your clients are not going to be the same as everybody else that may do something that's the same or at least similar to what you're doing. That's why we have so many people, such a diverse world. And then with my dear sis, we have publishing. So this is our latest book, Against the Grain, Finding Belonging in a World of Resistance. And these amazing authors, it's a number one international bestseller. It is available on Amazon. You can get it in Kindle, you can get it in paperback, and all the proceeds for this will be going to confronting domestic violence. So it's a great way to get a book that can help you find a way to move from where you're stuck, to move beyond whatever box you're in and go against the grain, because it's the world that's resisting you. It's other people that are resisting you. Go against that grain and find the space where you truly belong, where that is the place that you are the safest to drop the mask, to feel safe to speak, and you know that there's no judgment coming back at you. I know what that's like. Then I want to, because I forgot to put it up here, but there's one other thing I want to make sure I get up, and that is our newest anthology, Opportunity. So, Chronicles of Scattered Pages, stories from everywhere. In this, all these anthologies we've done, they have a theme, whatever the theme is. Against the grain, the theme is belonging, so everybody's writing on belonging, how they found belonging. Rebel with a cause, what does it mean to be a rebel, and how did you move from being complacent, as it were, to standing up and being that rebel and being yourself? Well, here's one where you get to write whatever you want, within reason. When you write with us, we take you through, we have writing classes for you. We've got the marketing, we've got the memes, we're doing the publishing for you. And the only people that you have to work with is CJ and I. This one, CJ is running this one. We have a special through midnight tonight of 20% off our normal rate to join us on these anthologies. I mean, last year we had 72 stories within the 4 anthologies that we released. That's a lot of stories. That's a lot of people putting it out there for who they are and how they got there. Here's your chance to write on anything. I know what Sis is going to write on, at least CJ. I'm not sure about Danielle. And I mean, you can write a story, a genre story, a story about your life, about a grandparent. It's wide open. So here's your chance to write 1,000 to 2,000 words. We keep it simple, we keep it short, and by March, you'll be a published author. If this is your first time, we know how to take care of you to make this as easy as possible. And if you have questions, talk to some of the people that have written with us. Mike Ashebrainer with the Hounds of Business, with Dr. Mary. She wrote with us for the first time in the last book, in Against the Grain. We've got so many amazing authors, and Miguel has been in the last 2 books with us. So feel free to reach out to them too. If you got questions about what is it like to work with us, they can give you a great idea as to what it's like and why they wanted to write with us. Then we have this one coming up, and I'm actually going to bring up my dear sister CJ, and I'm going to let her talk about this. Sorry, sis, I've got this up for you to talk.
Wait,
Because,
you can hear me now?
oh yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Because you know this one the best. This one is your bailiwick.
Yeah.
I want
Uh,
to give you a chance.
yes. So this one it happens once every 2 years. I actually already did this once in 2022. That was only for all PhDs and DBA, so all doctors in academics. And basically, they were my team, and we did it together. We presented in the summit first, and then we created the manuscript because we basically wrote our research. Once we wrote our research, then we presented it and extrapolated information from that research and presented it in the summit. Then from there, we then use the manuscript to put in academic publishing because as an academicians, you need to have a published article or books in academics. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm a published author." Great, wonderful, congratulations. But is it just, and I mean just Amazon? And you're like, CJ, what do you mean by just with Amazon? Amazon's pretty big. You're right, but they're only in what 13 to 15 countries, right? They're not how many countries? Almost 200 countries or over 200 countries. You need to be in what all countries if you can, but academic publishing is different than just regular publishing. It's pretty intense editing. um, so we basically have to research, and you can do it in a month or two for the research. This month coming up in January, I will be having during the week, not during the Saturday, but during the week, I will have a get together so that you can, it's like an informational session. You can come in to ask questions, and you basically will have a summit on April 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's 3 days. And it's only like an hour if you're a presenter. You don't need to show up on all 3 days. And we will invite people in from everywhere, not just in academics, but anyone who wants to learn, right? Not just our story, but the research that we can move the needle literally, right, for the world. And if you are part of our anthology on this one, really, is you're going to have a crash course. I'm going to be teaching you a crash course on how to write and structure your paper in academics, how to write an APA 7th, and what does APA mean and who started it, obviously. And then how to produce your own um, paper in a research format. Crash course is what you're going to get in here. And usually those take 16 weeks per class, and I will be doing that in 3 hours. So you will be fine. It'll be three separate ones that we'll be doing to actually come in and see. And Miguel is on this one as well. So hopefully we'll see you. This is very limited seats because I cannot have more than technically no more than 10, but whether we have people or not, I'm still moving forward because I need it every 2 years. And this time I'm opening it to master's and doctor degrees as well. Thank you, sis.
Oh, absolutely. So scan these or reach out to CJ. And when it comes to our anthologies, you can reach out to either one of us. Like I said, CJ's running that one, but we're both there. So, and there's my dear sister.
I'm like, I wasn't ready for that. Oh,
Yeah, I know. Sure you weren't.
this is what I wanted to show.
And you did. It's right there.
Hi guys.
And I've
This
got
is my face for today. Don't you like think it's beautiful?
it's perfect. And there's my other dear sis. So this is going to be fun because there's we have kind of a couple aspects to go. Yeah, you're loving this. You're going to have so much fun with those. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Can you tell my ADHD is coming up, guys? I'm actually sick.
All of our ADHD is coming up, going around,
Yeah,
and
that's true. I actually got this because my oldest got it. This is not mine. This is Bella's, and this sucker is $50. Keychain. Okay, this sucker is $50. And the reason you're like, CJ, why is it so expensive? It is from Pop Mart, and I will be selling some of these actually if when I get mine, whenever that will be, because I bought the whole set. The Ministry of Thailand has this in their luxury bags. Lisa from Pink has it, and Heart Evangelist. So, like, you'll see, they even have a giant ones. But because look at them, they're so cute. I'm like, oh my god, hi, friend. And if you need a hug, they literally give you a hug. See? Oh, so adorable. I know I'm a 2-year-old. Sorry guys. Let's talk business. I thought it was just so cute. I needed to bring it out.
You had to. It works perfectly. So that gives me an idea as to how you're doing. How are you doing, Danielle?
Oh, I'm here.
You're
Trying to
here.
remember.
You're
I'm
here with that sexy voice.
Oh my gosh. But I'm excited. I mean, I think there's nowhere I'd rather be than here with my sisters to reflect on the year and you know, yeah, best way.
Best way. Best way. So I want to know from each of you, what is your best memory from the past year? And this doesn't mean that it's not necessarily that it has to be a good memory, because sometimes some of the hardest things can be that best memory. But for you, CJ, what would you say is your best memory from the past year?
Memory, only one? Oh, I can't
Look,
do it.
if you wanna do this as like a top 3, go for it.
Okay.
But you gotta
The
keep it
first
on
one
the
is
shorter
Podfest.
side.
Yeah, the first one is Podfest because I've always, well, A, I was a speaker, so I needed to go. B, I invited you and I met you in person and you said yes. So I think that's like the beginning of like, I mean, we've been friends before that, but it was really nice to have catapulted 10 times when you see somebody in person that you work with and they don't change, right? I've seen people that I wanted to meet in person during Podfest and fake as hell. Sorry. I'm like, oh, wow, that was like not cool. But with you, it was consistent. So I was really excited about that. The second one, in terms of um, memorable, is when I met and I had you and Danielle, because Danielle and I met in person first in 2023. But when I have you and Danielle on the same time, and we were it was crazy because we all have ADHD and you all just like, where do you want to go? We go here. Where do you want to go? We go here. And you guys just kind of went with it and it was spontaneous. And then it was cold and then watch out for the catamaran. I could never forget that. Like I could never. That was definitely one of the best memory because it was like in July and we did like book signing and things like that. I never thought I would be at Barnes and Nobles with you guys signing our books. Like it's a lifetime that will unfold 10 times. It was worth the money that I put into it, my personal money. Like I didn't collect it from anybody because I test things and I will keep testing to see what works for everybody so I can help. The last one is two folds, is losing both our sisters, Michelle Lax, and of course, I can't even say her name right now.
Jess,
I know I don't want to say her name. Like it just breaks my heart. I
I will
think that
tell
one
you,
is too much because it wasn't a sickness per se, like a physical sickness. And I still don't know really what happened. And I think that closure is haunting me.
I'm gonna
And
pick something
that
up as
definitely
you
is
talk about it.
my two folds that's memorable for this year for me. Yeah. Yeah, that two folds is that is those memory this year have been etching in my brain.
How about you, Danielle?
Ooh, that's heavy.
Do you want you can do 1 to 3, your choice.
Okay. I mean, if I could just overall, I has been a big year of growth, and that definitely stemmed from the adversity of my partner, my husband, surviving 3 strokes this year, and the feeling of being alone or hopeless, like I have to say I'm super grateful for the community around us that banded together, um, you know, but that loneliness, that hopelessness doesn't stop. And sometimes people's empathy kind of halts. Um, and I think why I'm saying this is because it forced us to rely at some point on what we have to do, despite not having answers, and losing a lot of things that we worked so hard for, but just feeling resolute in where we are today, um, and being grateful for where we are. So I don't know that it's a significant like event or anything that happened, but just that growth and finding our own voice and embracing it and embracing who we are, and moving forward despite all of the things um, that feel like they're holding you back. Realizing that when you look in the mirror, I'm like, oh man, that was me. Like I am the one, um, either that allowed it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. Like that's a lot of growth and maturity for me. So that's been a significant part of my growth this year.
Cool. It's all important. I mean, that's why I said it doesn't have to always be the best of times. And I mean, as I think about 3, I'm trying not to copy CJ yet. I mean, Podfest was definitely it was the thing that cemented that connection, because the whole time going into it, CJ's like, I got your back, I got your back. And that trip to Podfest had so many firsts for me. She had my back the whole time. We were never apart. In fact, it's like we met in the airport, and within a half an hour, we're doing her live stream right there at the gate. And then halfway through, Sandra Gonzalez shows up. And from that point, the 3 of us were basically never apart until we got back to San Diego. So that was such a big deal. And then the book signing, to be able to meet everybody. But that trip, that was an important trip for me because, one, that's when I got to meet Danielle for the first time in real life, and drove her sleepy rear to Escondido after picking her up from the airport. I mean, that's what you get for flying early, though.
This is true.
And then we're in Escondido, and like CJ said, all the different things that happened because we just went. And quite frankly, that's where the first one of these showed up. We're sitting in that Sprinter. I mean, that I believe that's the photo that you gave me, Danielle, was from the middle of inside that Sprinter. Uh,
Was.
and CJ's like, "You're doing wigs," and it went all downhill from there. Or uphill, I don't know, one way or the other. And then really, besides the fact that we've got 4 anthologies this year, we were so blessed that every one of them was a #1 international bestseller. The topics are unbelievably connected because, I mean, unless CJ wants to sit there and say, "Well, I really did have a plan," I've it's like we
Probably.
never really had a plan on how they went. CJ's like, "This is the first one," and then she's like, "How about this for the second?" And I'm like, "Okay," and then, "How about this for the third?" And, well, this for the third is like she pretty much ran with it. Give me a cover. It's like, "What do you think?" And then she's just like, "I've got this idea for the fourth." And then I made her go read my chapter from the third one. It's like, I think I gave you the title for that one. And actually did the cover on it. But like CJ too, I think really this is why I said it doesn't have to be the best of times. One of the deepest valleys I had this summer was right after Jess. And I know all 3 of us, it hit us all hard, hit us different. Our reactions were different because, I mean, we're different people.
Mhm.
CJ writes her chapter for Rebel with a Cause that night. I like the next night on a Monday, on Tuesday, I basically write I write a chapter, but it's not one that's for the book. It's a totally different chapter. And then on Wednesday, because I was posting about what it's like to be in that valley of the shadow, and I slid into it, and this is where that belonging comes in, because I could basically say, this is what I'm doing, maybe drop a couple of emojis, and the next thing CJ's like, get on Zoom. And for the next 1 to 2 hours, we're talking on Zoom, going through everything, and by the time we're done, we've made plans for something coming up, and we're laughing and giggling, and that's what it means. That's why I talk about belonging so much. So CJ had this idea of trying to pick a chapter or a paragraph out of the chapters. And so I wanted to see, since it was CJ's idea, does she have one that she wants to read? Because I figure it's best to just do one book, or we'll be here all day.
Wait, I didn't think that we had to pick one. Just one?
Look, you can.
Well, yeah, because we only have 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's what can you do in like 2 to 3 minutes? Because we need to talk about plans for the next year. And hey, we're already at
Half hour.
27-minute mark.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's like, what do you mean? I don't wanna. I actually wanting to, if I can find my chapter actually. Wanting to do the beyond boundaries. And the reason for that, it's because there were a lot of people on this one, and I'm sure they're doing, big things in their lives now. And it's kind of sad once a book is done, because it seems like people just go away and do their own thing, and kind of never look back. But I really wanted to encapsulate how much this first one really means to me, because this is the first time that I put together something like this and put it out for the world, more than just an Amazon. It's also the first one that I was laughed at in my face to say, oh, you only have 10 or whatever authors, like that competition. And I kind of reflected on why people, instead of like competing, we should definitely thinking like, instead of doing your own thing, just instead of one upping someone, I think we should definitely be leveling up instead of one upping someone, right?
Oh,
And
yes.
that's really what I want. And I know that friendship change and things change and everything is changing, right? But I really love this type of collaboration. And the reason being is that people change and they could reflect, but also Jess was on here and her story resonated with so many people that it created a ripple effect of kindness, I think. I don't know. What do you think, sister?
It did. Jess's story, I was so looking forward to the opportunity to work with her again in Rebel, because I had so much fun working with her on her chapter in Beyond Boundaries. And the way she wrote it and how fast, it's like she would get it to me, and then I would do the edits, send it to her at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and within an hour, she'd sent the revision back to me with her edits and stuff. And it's like, oh, this girl is so fast, but her story resonated so much. And I think it was actually this show where it was her first live stream, because I remember her coming on with me, and we were dealing with the mic, and because she had like a new headset and was getting used to it, but that was such a fun conversation with her.
Yeah. Well, I have my my paragraph from Beyond Boundaries. And the reason I'm reading this is because I've been reflecting a lot. I think you know this in 2024. My whole entire projects that I want, and obviously I'm gonna have projects in between. That's just who I am. And getting to know myself has been painful and like exciting at the same time. You know, we like to get to know other people, but we never get a chance to get to know ourselves. And I want everybody to have that journey to really um, just be curious about what you can and cannot do, and be curious about yourself and really focus on yourself in 2025. And it's not like, oh man, you're narcissistic because you're focusing on yourself. No, there's so many things you can uncover about yourself. And the only reason that I want to do that is because it's through adversity that you actually learn so much on what your limits are. And so this one is called, the paragraph that I'm doing is, it's called A Personal Tale of Transformation. And I said, my journey of living unknowingly with ADHD has been a part of peaks and valleys. Learning to navigate my ADHD without prior knowledge was challenging, but it also taught me resilience, creativity, and the value of embracing my unique perspectives. I've come to see my ADHD not as a hindrance, but as a different way of interacting with the world, one that is full of potential and possibilities. Because we all come with baggage. I don't care who you are. I don't even care if you have money or not money. It doesn't matter. Every single living being in this world come with baggages, if you want to call that, or it could be just packages, right? It's the way your mindset shift. I see it as a package that you need to unpack and uncover, whether that is painful, whether that is happy moments. You have to go through it and open it. And when you open it, you'll be surprised that your thoughts before, and you think that it's going to be so like, oh my god, it's going to be crazy, and people are afraid of judgment, including myself. And I think I've let go. Sometimes I don't care about the judgment. Sometimes it hurts more than I can say. And the reason being, I think it's because I could relate that moment of my life when people did nothing but judge me because I didn't have any parents growing up. And so I just turned my pain into adversity, my pain and adversity into purpose and clarity, so I can level up people, right? And people sometimes don't like me for no reason. It's okay too. I'm okay. I still love you. The reason being is I'm not competing with anyone, not even my sisters. I'm competing with myself so that God can bless me more, so I can be here. I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. I could die tonight on my sleep. But heed my words that you need to focus on yourself and continue to be a blessing to others, and make sure that you are looking around you right now, right here, whether you have a messy room like mine right now or a clean home, what you have, and be still, quiet down your brain. It's really hard when you have ADHD, by the way, and be grateful. Be grateful, be thankful. And no matter what negative feelings you have right now, and I don't feel good, I'm going to probably be super sick and get bronchitis for sure. I can feel it on my chest. I'm so grateful that I'm breathing, that I can have the opportunity to undo what I effed up yesterday, whatever that is. And it's always an opportunity and a gift to be present with everyone, including my sister. So that's why I did that transformation. And next 2025, you will see more about how I handle my ADHD. That journey is going to be more present. I've hid it for so long. And well, I didn't hid it for so long. I didn't know I had it for so long. How's that? And now that I know what it is, I'm uncovering how I can help others that hasn't been diagnosed yet, to help them see what their superpowers are. And it's not fun to have it, but it can be if you really play onto it. So that's what I'm going to say.
Danielle.
Okay. In true ADHD fashion, I can't follow directions. So I'm just going to talk about, like the journey from Beyond Boundaries, which really set the tone for like writing for me, like that medical scare that shook our family, and then finding the happiness in between all of that and the adversities, which has been a theme of this year. and then really living with it, like confronting those labels, ADHD being one of them. You know, my advocacy for self has been labeled as argumentative or combative when, you know, um, people who are neurodivergent, at least for myself, I can speak for my own experiences, we are trying to communicate our side, and oftentimes a side that nobody can see. So that next rebel with the cause was embracing the light, because no matter, my mom always told me, which, oh my gosh, you know, it, no matter how people treat you, you know, um, choose the higher road, right? Like be, and I think that I really took that to heart. I mean, that has, mm, you know, stunted me in some ways where I let other people's interest overshadow my own. And so balancing that, but it really came from her. You know, you'll hear CJ or Susannah say, like, my approach is always love, even in the hardest of, even if someone's being mean to me. And that was a time that I did that. Like somebody was not being very nice, and I had to choose love anyways, and it helped me get through that. Um, and so, you know, my rebellion is to, you know, in any situation, even when you think that it's time to fight, that you can always choose the higher ground and choose love. But my favorite, and which is where I'm going to read from, is Against the Grain, Finding Belonging in the World of Resistance. And the reason why is because it's a coming together of all these anthologies. And, you know, oftentimes I kind of downplay it because you know, there's this inner like, oh, was it perfect? Did I do my best? You know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Um, but I always say it's pieces of my heart. So now when we get to Against the Grain, a journey of belonging and leadership, this paragraph that I'm going to read, it really talks about how I confronted and moved beyond boundaries, using all those stories to just push it forward. So this is a chapter, this is a part of the chapter, but mine is called The Journey of Belonging and Leadership. And it says, this is a call to action for all the leaders and visionaries. Reflect on your journey, acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses, commit to healing and growth, know it's time to pass the torch and guide others toward their moments of greatness. This is the essence of Kapwa, a recognition of our shared humanity and interconnectedness. As you move forward, let your actions leave footprints that honor your values and inspires others to do the same. Let us build a world where belonging is not an exception, but the rule, a world where empathy and love guide us toward a future collective healing and growth. Together we climb higher, carrying our legacies with every step of the way. So, you know, it goes back to this idea, you know, despite the adversities, we still carry them with us. But it's about looking around you and looking at your growth and saying, wow, I made it, you know, I made it. And I think that, and if I could maybe revise what I said was the highlight of this year, I think it's looking at my sisters and knowing, like, even if my world were to fall apart, they tell me all the time, like, no, you know, we're going to keep going. So I think that, you know, etched in these books and, you know, these wonderful publishers that inspire us here, Susannah and CJ, you know, it really does give you a place. Our stories will be written forever, and it's a gift. So if you haven't written with them, again, here's a plug to my sisters. What are you waiting for? So anyways, that's my highlight. My sisters, I call them my lifeline.
Well, and I like this because CJ starts at the beginning, you take it at the end, and I'm going to take it slightly more beginning because I know what CJ read was somewhere in the middle of hers. Mine, I'm actually going to take it from Beyond Boundaries, and it's really the very beginning of my chapter. As it's what I wrote is, I'm not what I used to be, yet I am who I've always been. Susannah Dawn. Gray, a neutral color viewed as neither black nor white, The word conjures up a sense of walking through a thick fog or standing outside on a dismal winter's day that cannot decide if it wants to snow, rain, or something else. The sheer neutrality of the color lacks the vibrancy one can feel on a sunny spring day as the sun shines high in the sky, the birds sing, and the flowers are in full bloom. It's a color of hiding, like the gray painted battleships that are less obvious to see on the high seas. Even the emotions associated with the color come across as solemn, quiet, and even dreary. At the same time, we live in a world of absolutes, a place where people often view things being black and white. Sure, there's color, but it loses its luster as others group people into boxes. Once they learn something about us, they use that small piece of knowledge to define who we are and invariably place us in a box with a label, often a stigma, to define how or if they will interact in a positive way. This is a true shame, as they fail to take any time to interact and get to know the real person. The imagined boxes we get placed in cannot define who we are, our authentic selves. And I started it this way, and it really takes me through all four. This was really that start, because we say Beyond Boundaries, but the full title of that book is Beyond Boundaries: Thriving in Life's Gray Zone. And what I basically said was, it's in the gray zone where we find the color. It's in the gray zone where we're able to succeed the most. Because, like I said, like I wrote, everybody pretty much sees the world in a black or white situation. You're this or you're that. And you're put in boxes, and that's how you're defined. So when you're trying to be who you were created to be your authentic self, too often we have everybody else trying to say, this is who you are, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to be. I've heard it all my life. I tried to fit those boxes. It doesn't effing work. It's that simple. When you are trying to fit into a black and white world and you aren't that black and white type, you want the color. There's a reason why we pop with pink, okay? Because we aren't into that black and white. We aren't into you're this or that. I can't niche down because I go everywhere, and part of it is my ADHD. So that beginning to say that gray zone is where the color is, it's not gray. It's not hiding the battleship on the open sea. This is where the color is. This is where the vibrant life is. And this is where we truly stay out of the boxes. Thoughts?
That was deep.
I love it. I feel like there's always somebody whispering in my head. I know it sounds schizo, but when I talk to God everywhere, like literally, I sit here and I close my eyes. I'm like, can you just send me a message or something in my head? I don't know. And I hear whispers like in my thoughts, like, oh, what about this? And I've learned to just go with it and stop resisting so much, right? Because when I resist, I actually I'm so frustrated when I resist, because I'm like, oh, I should have done that and I didn't. So I don't do that anymore. I go with the flow. And if I see something that I'm like, okay, well, CJ, just do this. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And as much as we want to move forward, sometimes you have to go backwards to move forward. It's just part of life. Some of us are surviving, some of us are thriving. The goal is to thrive, not just survive. However, let's be honest. Okay, we're all trying to survive right now. Here's the thing. or 4 of an anthologies, and I know you guys have heard me say this, because of our packages, we live a life that we go against what other people are doing. And because of that, we find our own belonging, because some of us will go to the end of our life and never find what people would give us junk information, right? And we follow it and you get devastated. You have to look at within yourself and say, okay, what type of groups would I want to feel like I truly, truly belong?
Right.
Susannah talks about it all day long, all the time. How can I find that same thing? Susannah didn't find belonging because she was just looking for it. Susannah found belonging because she belonged to herself first more than anything. You'll never find belonging anywhere else if you don't look within on what you want. If I ask you right now, what do you want? And I don't take no for an answer for a reason, because I know you're afraid to know what you want and step into yourself. So finding belonging against the grain, meaning you have to find you where you belong to yourself, not anybody else. Don't let anybody live in your head rent free or your heart crushing it. Your hopes and dreams and aspirations, sometimes you don't want to share it to people because it sounds crazy. I shared it and I was labeled crazy for doing it. So I showed them anyway. I want it, I got it. Literally. That's
Mhm.
how my mantra. I want it, I got it. How I'm going to get it, I don't know, but I'm going to do it in means that is not stepping on anybody's toes or stealing people's emotions or feeding them false hopes and sending them lies about people and their character and assassination. No, we're going to do it the right way, because it's between me and him above there.
Yep.
All the people that does the lying and the cajoling and the manipulation, that's on you and your journey. I don't care about that. Right? And if you lie about us, it's okay too, because it's me. I'm trying to find me. The stronger you are inside, the stronger you know about yourself, the stronger your clarity, your purpose, and your mission gets out. That's finding belonging. You can belong to yourself first before you find belonging. Then from there, because you found your belonging and you don't like this, or that, and now you want this, you got to rebel, because now you got a cost to rebel. Once you rebel and you're exhausted and you're like, I gotta move beyond this damn box right now that I'm in. So then I can what? Thrive and not just survive. I went backwards in all of our anthologies.
That's what you've been doing. I put something together that took it all forward. You'd put it together going backwards. But now that we've done that, and it's true, because when it comes to belonging, and that's where everything went through to this, finding that space of belonging, which is so hard in this world, which is why in Rebel I wrote how it's to find belonging is to go against the grain. You have to resist the world that's resisting you, that's trying to box you, because if you go into those boxes, you never get back out unless you ignite your awareness to say, I'm done and I see a path. I'm going to start, and it takes the first step. You got to start. Once you take that first step, then you can do a second, and so forth and so forth. But now, as we get towards the end, and we knew this was going to happen, I want you to talk a little bit. I'm going to start with CJ because I know she's got lots and she can just go forever and ever, but because there is so much coming up in the next year. We've talked about the anthology that's coming up. We've talked about the academic, and she's pulling out the calendar. I've seen the calendar. You have that thing so packed. And I just sit back and go, I need to learn how to do this better, so that the next time you give me a calendar, I'm like scribbling, scratching, and doing it. Oh crap, you guys are making me look bad now.
And that's just one calendar. You don't see this other calendar and my other
Yeah.
calendar in here. I have a lot of calendars.
I know
And
you've got 3 or 4, and Danielle's got 4. And me, I've got my phone and whatever sticks in here.
Oh, that phone, I have
Bunch of
2 phones,
notes.
and I have calendars on those 2
I have 2
phones.
phones too.
But yeah, sis.
Okay, let's talk about what we're gonna do for the community. And we're actually doing free classes, all 3 of us. They didn't say no to me, that's why. And so they're volunteering their time, because our collaboration doesn't mean you have to pay all the time, right? How do we level up the world through education is through education, and
Yeah.
education should be leveling up people through free experiences. And people just take it for granted that it's there, but some of these courses that we're creating cost hundreds of money, hundreds, but we're giving it to you for free for the same reason that we already found our purpose, right? And that is to help. Whether you hate us, love us, or indifferent with us, we're going to keep going, because it's not for you, it's for somebody else who's ready to level up with us. Now, here's the 4 courses that Danielle is going to be doing. And I will be releasing this link because I can only do Zoom, I guess, like 3 at a time. So you'll have like January, February, March. I will be putting it out for you guys in the Level Up Academy page, the link of the Google Drive that you guys can have, right? So you could click on it and do nothing, not even to think, just click on it. Danielle will be giving out soft skills development, and it is actually on February 1st. Okay, so if you guys have calendar, write it down. And then networking strategies on May 7th. Make sure it's May 7th, not 17th. No, see, May 17th. That is May 17th, networking strategies. Leading from the heart is August 9th. And tech and marketability is November 8th. Now, Susannah is going to have the productivity and belonging connection, right? If you're an organization, she will be doing training on productivity and how belonging connection actually helps productivity. The second one, and that one is March 8th. Aligning personal goals and team purpose, and that is June 28th. The third one is Ink to Impact the publishing process, and that is September 13th. And then storytelling for personal branding, and that is don't know what the date on that one, but that I
20.
wrote it down in
December
summer.
20th.
December 20th. There you go. I need to write that down. Where the heck is my pen? I have it on my other calendar, but I didn't put it in here. Now, for me, January 11th is coming up, guys, next weekend, next Saturday. Notice this is all Saturdays, by the way. It's social media marketing made simple. So if you're a business owners and you want to do, how do we do social media? I'm an influencer. I'm a global influencer and influencing you. You will see all the best of influencers that they put together all over the world. I don't know how many countries they're in, 15 or 50. I forgot what they told me. I'm such a bad listener on that one, huh? But all the influencers on different languages actually are on influencing you. It is a subscription base because we're giving out our secrets, literally giving out our secrets. So I'm going to make you guys a shorter version of that called social media marketing. And then that is January 11th, next Saturday. Then we're going to do project management. I know some people have super genius abilities to create projects, but they never can move it or finish it. And ADHD is not an excuse because I got projects to the wazoo and I know how to do it. So I'll give you the tools. I'll give you a little bit of snippet. This is free, right? And then that is called project management. That is April 12th. And then I have accountability partnerships. So if you need be accountable to be in the hot seat, like CJ, I have this project I want to do, or I have this business that I just started and I want someone to push me to the right direction, we'll have that accountability partnership. That is July 26th, like 2 weeks after my birthday. I'm heading to 50. I'm not going to talk about that. And then guiding inclusive workspace for hybrid teams, because I've had hybrid teams forever, for 13 years now. I will also guide you on how to gamify your team so it will be fun. It's not a boring one, even though you're online all the time. So those are our free classes, but I have 12 entrepreneurship class that I'm selling for $50, guys. And I will also put that out as soon as I figure out the Zoom situation. But yes.
You want to add anything, Danielle?
Not yet.
It's totally fine. I just want to give you that chance.
I was writing it down because I was like, oh, what was the fourth one again?
Well, you know, the boss there has it all written down, so you
Yeah,
can
thank
always
God.
just go, "Hey, what was that one again?"
No, it's on Google Drive. I sent it to our group chat and LinkedIn. It's all in the
Right.
Google Drive. I wrote it down. The links and everything is there because you know me. I like structure.
I like it too.
Exactly. So, okay. Anything else, Danielle? Or
Not yet.
okay. Okay, that's fine. So for me, um, so that first class I'm gonna do in March is actually gonna be a piece of what I put together for a program for organizations anyway to create that space of belonging. Then there's going to be I've besides the anthologies that we have and the academic, I've got probably 3 different books, solo books I'm looking to do over the course of the year, and part of me wants to try and get them in more like the first half of the year and then see what I can come up with for the second half. Like pushing the boundaries here. And you know, I got a sis that will help me push the boundaries very nicely. So there's that, and then building that speaker platform to bring this message of what does it mean, especially for women, to stop being that that person that just accepts everybody sticking you in a box, to finally kind of push back, to put up some barriers, to put up the barriers, the boundaries that are there to protect you, yet at the same time move beyond that box. What's in the box? Why are you stuck in the box? How do you ignite the awareness going out of the box? Because that is also my word for the next year, ignite. And when I think of ignite, because a spark never guarantees that the fire is going to catch. But when you ignite, things are burning. The fire has started. Now, as I was talking with CJ, that also means, yes, you've got it started, especially when we got ADHD, and she's mentioned it before, how it's so easy to just kind of let things go. It's like, okay, I got it going, and off we go. I love the way she put this. It's like, you got to make sure you burn all the wood. So that's, you've got to complete the project. And I like that term of burn all the wood. So that's the rest of when I talk about ignite. Ignite is you start it. You stop sitting back. You stop. You stop. How do I want to put it? Feline footing around, and you grab the bull by the horns and you get going. You move beyond that box. You take those initial steps. But then once you've started it, you've got the fire ignited. Make sure that you use all the wood that you have for that particular fire. Go through it all, because that you want to complete the project. And once you've completed it, then you're ready to go to the next level.
I love it.
You love it?
No, because you're paying attention to my conversation. I love
Yes,
it.
I know. You're sitting there going, where did I hear all this before?
No, I'm glad that you did that because I'm like, Susannah, why would you like light and ignite the wood and then you don't go burn it all the way because you're not finished with this project and that project? And really, it's not because you're not intentional. It's because ADHD is really hard, guys. It's really an uphill
Squirrels.
battle. It's really bad. And that's the reason why I'm gonna focus more. And Susannah doesn't even know it, but I could write a research paper in 100 pages right now, only focusing on her journey, like me helping her in her journey and Danielle's journey. Um, Literally, I can do a master thesis right now and a dissertation on these two because they're such good listeners and they literally focus on themselves and they grow so much because of that. And our journey, you can't say, oh, you're not doing it fast enough. What the heck is fast enough? Like, what the heck? Why are you telling me that? I'm going to go through my own journey and my own pain and my own whatever nonsense I'm going through. Just effing support me. Stop
Yeah.
judging me. I don't want to be perfect. It's hard to be perfect. I don't want to be a perfect child, sister,
Oh,
brother, whatever, cousin, enemy. I don't want to be perfect. I just want to be me and whatever that is. And if you can't accept for me for who I am and me as chaotic as me, then you don't belong in my circle. Sorry. Peace.
yeah. I will never focus on the perfection, and quite frankly, I'm not going back to the past, whether it's going backwards in terms of how I was in the past, or it's just spending time trying to dig about things that happened, because the past is over. The past is done, and
Ooh,
it's time to go.
ooh, fireworks.
You like that? That's
Yeah.
the double thumb. That's the double thumb. So don't ask. There you go. There you go. We got 1 out of 2. But yeah, we can't live in the past because it's over. We
Mm,
have to we have to look at where we're at now, because I say this all the time. When you live in the past, when you're focused, everything is focused on the past becomes the future. Because whatever you're focusing on right now, that's what's going to become the future. So if you're focusing on, okay, things are tough. I made mistakes. I'm not even gonna. I don't want to focus on them anymore. I'm not going to focus. I'm taking where I'm at now, and I'm going forward. And I'm gonna see. I'm gonna do everything I can to make going forward the best way to go, to go to floor, to fly, to soar. There's a
ooh,
reason. The last 4 years, my words in 20 going into 2022, it was faith. And I don't know really what the word means necessarily until the year's over. But in this case, faith was that I was going to make it through the year. The next year it was to fly. It's taking those next steps and getting off the ground. And that doesn't mean that you're going to have the huge success that you want, but you're getting off the ground. You're getting out there. Then coming into this year, it was soar. I mean, you start flying. What you want to do is just like the eagle. You want to be able to soar. You want to go up higher. You want to go farther, like an eagle, like a hawk. You're going to soar and hopefully see everything. I wish I had the eyesight that they do, but that's why I wear glasses. And then the word that came to me, because I changed. I used to say you want to spark your awareness, and something inside, you talk about whispers. I think that's what I had. I had one of those whispers. It's like, is a spark really going to work? You don't know. It's not a guarantee, but if you ignite, the fire is going to start. And then coming into this year, that's the word I feel, ignite. And CJ added the rest of it as we talked, because you want to ignite it. I want women to ignite that awareness, to stop doing what everybody else is telling them to do, knowing that that's not who they are, and to step up, move beyond that box. But that means you have to ignite your awareness that you're not a victim. Stop playing the victim card and take control. And when you do that and you step and you move forward, then you've ignited the fire. You take the first step, but if you're going to burn all the fuel for that fire, that means you have to complete the journey to wherever the next point is. Oh, of course you can, dear. I'll let you. Do you want to use that to close things out? Or do you want to start playing now?
I want to play now, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me play. Ready?
You play it. and I'll give you.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Step into the future. The world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making. We'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game. Let's raise the bar. And the rain and inspiration in our DNA. Breaking through the limits. Don't be shy. Your story is worth it. Your light will shine. Level up. Academy. Your time. Your time. Level up. Academy. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, it's in and out, but we got most of it. You got the tune. All the words didn't quite come through, but maybe you need to start singing it along with the music. I'm going to do to you before you do it to me.
Oh man, here goes TikTok.
But I love the theme. I love what you did, and it's like, okay, teach me. I need to figure out how you did that so I can do the same thing. And I know we could go on forever. It's hard because we got so much to talk about, so much to do. This year is coming to a close, but now we're really going to take what's happened this year and go forward. And you said it before. I mean, we've had people that were in our lives that they're not there anymore for various reasons. And energy, each of us feels energy so much that I remember how when we got to a point, it's like we just let people go. And the next day we start looking at each other like, I feel good today. And we're trying to figure out why until we figure out why. It's like we've left that energy. We're not giving it space. And what, didn't you just do a post about not giving space to things in our thoughts and to people in our thoughts that don't belong there? Exactly. Well, you're very good at minion speak too. I mean, I still remember the first day you called me up. You just had to get something off your chest. And the next thing you know, you just start speaking minion. I think that's the first time you really did it. And then it was actually Ollie who threw in the banana, and that became the end. So when you say banana, that's the end of the minion speak. But
or the beginning, warning you, I'm about to go minion on you. But at
it
least
could be that way too.
Yeah.
But you do it so well. I mean, the way you do it, no, you got too much cough. It's like, I really want you to just do it, but maybe you can't because you've got it down. And it just, you can go loud, you can go soft, but you got it. Like you need to be another voice actor for the next time there's a Minion movie.
No, I want to create a movie for our anthologies. Can you imagine the drama?
I can.
Ooh,
It's gonna
yeah.
be a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got so many people. Jay's here, Angelica, Sandra,
Been
Michael.
busy. I'm trying everybody to come. I'm like, hey guys, can you come
Yeah.
over?
And of course, Sis stopped by.
Yeah, sis stopped by. Well, sis and I have a meeting in like 5 minutes. So yeah, we do have to end.
Okay, so I just want last comments from both of you of what you want to leave going from one year to the next. What you see, what you want to say for people to just help them get that boost from today to tomorrow, and off we go.
One word, choice. You have the choice to be happy, to be sad, to be angry, to be resentful, to be an enemy of somebody, to hate. Choice. You have a choice. So if you are not happy with who you are, choose wisely, choose something else differently. The power of choice is within you. Why do I sound like a Pokemon? Anyway, I'm going to stop now.
Okay, so now you're adding more stuff to it. This is going to be interesting. Wonder which Pokemon you are. Okay, Danielle.
My last thought for this year, kind of in every aspect, is, you either grow or you win. Be okay with the outcome. Don't be so, intent on knowing what it's going to be. And I think my sister said this too, go with the flow, count those blessings all around you. So win or grow, friends, win or grow.
And I'm going to leave it with ignite. I already said why, but it's time for everybody to just ignite that awareness and move forward. And I know CJ's going to leave, but I'm going to close it up anyway. It's like we're done. It's time to go, and I will probably just do me next week as a let's start the year off clean. Somebody might show up, you never know, but we're going to start the year off on a high note because it's time to do that. So I'm so glad you were here, sis, both of you, and there's nothing like having a chat with my sisters and just let the world watch and listen in.
Yes. Love you guys. Happy New Year. Mwah. And I will try to do TikTok karaoke. Good idea, Susannah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Straight